Welcome to HYROX Dallas. After 14 months of a hiatus, we are back and we are going big, and I mean Texas big, with the Elite Invitational right here at the Hilton Anatolia. The Elite Invitational was born out of a challenge set down by our world champions Hunter McIntyre and Lauren Weeks. They wanted to race against the best, Olympians, OCR athletes, and functional fitness athletes. So we've put $30,000 on the line today, and we're gonna see who can rise to the top of the podium. The women's race is the one to watch today. Will Corinna Coffin come back and overtake the podium from Lauren Weeks? Or will it be the Army optometrist and U.S. Warrior fitness athlete Rachel Schreiber coming back, proving that it's more about skill than it is about specialty? We'll see who stands on the top of the podium at the end of it. In the men's race, it's all about records. The competition is fierce, and this race really could be won on the runs. Expect throwing elbows on the corners and expect records to go down today. Hunter McIntyre set a blistering world record of sub 60 in Chicago, and today he intends to go sub 55. But will it be David Magida in his debut performance today that overtakes our world champion and ends up at the top of the podium? We will see. They say everything is bigger here in Texas, and that is exactly what HYROX intends to do. Go big in the Lone Star State. Today we have CrossFit superstars, we've got OCR legends, Army warriors, and even aspiring champions racing right here at the Elite Invitational. So without any further ado, let's get racing. The first workout station is the skier. Athletes must complete 1,000 meters before taking off on the next run. Workout station number 2 is the sled push, arguably the most feared workout station on the HYROX course. The athletes must complete 4 rounds of a 12.5 meter push before heading out on the next run. Workout station number 3 is the sled pull, definitely a bicep burner. Athletes must complete 4 rounds of a 12.5 meter pull before heading out on the run. Workout station number 4 is the burpee broad jump. Athletes must complete 60 meters of this challenging bodyweight movement. Workout station number 5 is the row. Athletes must complete 1,000 meters before heading out on the next run. Workout station number 6 is the farmer carry. 200 meters, 70 pounds for men, 53 pounds for women. Workout station number 7 is the sandbag lunge. In the back rack position, athletes will lunge 100 meters before taking off on their last and final run. The last workout station is wall balls. Each athlete must complete 100 reps before charging to the finish line. Now, you've seen our course, let's meet the athletes.
And the women are up first today. We've got Sarah Harrison, Corinna Coffin, Faith Cook, all jumping in here. Anticipation, nerves, Katie Knight right here with that last minute warm up as they head to the start line. We have newcomers, we have seasoned pros, everybody's ready for that countdown. With a stacked group of ladies, here we go. We're counting it down. 3, 2, 1, and they are off. This is it. The first lap we know is going to be a fast one. It's a foot race. Renee Medevere has told me right here that she's going to come out strong. She is the first of the ski erg as she gets it going. And we know this right now. If you've done a HYROX, you know that it's all about weight, putting your body weight into that ski erg. Rebecca Hammond throwing herself forward, but it's our champion, Lauren Weeks. She is the one who's proving that it's all about that core strength, stability, pushing down through the handles as she's going through that 1,000 meters. You see the full lineup of ladies, and there's Rachel Schreiber. Oh man, expecting big things out of her today, as well as Katie Knight. Some of the bigger athletes in the competition right here, definitely going to get out to a strong start on the skier. Can't count out Corinna Coffin. As we move through, Alyssa Hawley, Faith Cook once again, we're really pushing through this first round. It is going to be fast and furious. Once again, they're just warming up. And there is Brooke Bowen closing it out, as Rebecca Hammond is the first one over here to workout number 2, the sled push, but not too far behind is Lauren Weeks, our current champion, and Rachel Schreiber, the Army Warrior Fitness athlete who is putting down a hurtin' on this sled push. This is definitely in her wheelhouse. Look at her just digging in, taking big chunks, whereas Rebecca Hammond, the lighter athlete, definitely having trouble. Renee Medevere with the shoe malfunction. Now, you need that good running shoe, but you also need it to be steady on this turf. And there is Katie Knight with a strong performance. We'll see if that kind of comes up to bite her later on. She's going out very fast on that sled. Rachel Schreiber is truly setting the pace on this. Lauren Weeks, she's always comes from behind. Just like we saw in Germany in the Elite 12, she plays her game and she makes up ground. Sarah Harrison, one of the smaller athletes, certainly proven as someone who can move weight as well as run fast. Corinna Coffin, solid work. And there is Katie Knight just burning up the track on this sled. And there's Faith Cook, head down, just working at this point. Right behind her, Lauren Weeks, arms bent in, really diving in and over. You want to get a little purchase on that. You want to pick the back end of that sled up. Whereas you have Rebecca Hammond with her arms outstretched, doing work on that sled to stay with those top women. A couple different techniques to follow through as you see these athletes kind of moving through each of their 4 laps, 12.5 meters each. You've got bent arms, straight arms. Either one works depending on your stature, how you feel that drive through the legs is happening. But we cannot count out the dark horse. This Rachel Schreiber, this athlete right here, has surprised us all as she's giving it all on the sled right now. And she's the first off and then also the first on to our next workout, the sled pull. Rachel Schreiber doing work right now, and behind her, here is Lauren Weeks looking focused, looking determined. She's trying to make up that ground that she lost on the run, and here she goes, stepping back, walking it back. Good rope management by both these athletes. The question is, where is Rebecca Hammond? First one in on the sled push, not even in the top 3 position for the sled pull. Now, a couple things we need to know about the sled pull right here. 12.5 meter lanes, athletes will do 4 laps on them. So down and back, down and back. Corinna Coffin, fan favorite, definitely somebody who's proven in the sport of functional fitness and OCR. What I love about her is that she's adopting the traditional method of planting her feet, really using her hips to move that weight. Whereas see, Katie's turning her hips, she can't get a purchase on it. Chalking up for a second, kind of fumbling around with the rope. You gotta have that experience, and here is Katie. She's got her bent elbow. She's not using her body to her full potential. You can tell she's not super comfortable with the station. As the other athletes in the field start closing in on her, she's starting to break mentally, and this is going to bite her definitely. As she looks around the rest of the field, you need to have a plan going into it. This can cost you the race right here. Look at that, throwing her hands up. HYROX is a game of experience. However many reps that you can put in on these workouts, the better you're going to be overall. Rachel Schreiber making moves already. Look at that, already got workout brain, doesn't know where to go. Little right turn, little left turn. Now she's out the door. And here is Corinna Coffin finishing up, looking so strong. Corinna Coffin is out. Rebecca Hammond with the last few reps, and she is out. Moving on to workout number 4, which is the burpee broad jump. Now, let's talk you guys through this as we go into it. The key on this one is getting those feet and hands in position as you drop down. You can't jump into your burpee. And it's also about momentum. Fast off the ground, quick feet up to the hands. And that's exactly what Rachel Schreiber is doing. Every moment that she stays on the ground, that's an extra moment of extra work that the lungs have to do to get the air in there. Corinna Coffin bobbling just a little bit, but maybe a little bit of nerves, maybe a little bit of just like workout brain as we call it. Down there on the ground, she's back up nice and strong. Other athletes watching. The men are going next, so now some of the guys are actually watching as the women are going right now. Rachel Schreiber already down with one length of it. Now she's on to her second length of burpee broad jumps. Notice how fast she is up off the ground. Note to everybody watching today, the faster you get off the ground, the less stress those lungs have. You want to be quick off the ground and back up. Not too far behind Rachel Schreiber is Corinna Coffin at this point. This is something that she knows. This is that time domain that Corinna feels really comfortable in. But we'll see if she can manage to hold off, Lauren Weeks, Rebecca Hammond towards the middle section of this race. And here's a cool race shaping up. We've got our champion Lauren Weeks and Rebecca Hammond going shoulder to shoulder. There is nothing better as a competitor than knowing you've got that pacer next to you, essentially. Notice her feet are staying wide. This allows her back to stay flat as she jumps her feet up. Very, very important. You do not want to have low back fatigue at this point. And there is Rebecca Hammond kind of crawling herself to the top. Notice, this is what I'm saying. I want you to pay attention to her feet. Notice how Rebecca's keeping her feet close together. I'm telling you, it wreaks havoc and slows you down a little bit because your low back gets smoked over time. Moving on to their second lap. Lauren, the first off the ground. Corinna Coffin on her last couple burpees. Same thing, quick down, quick up. But these are the athletes that were personally invited by our champions, Hunter McIntyre and Lauren Weeks, to race against. And here it is, Sarah Harrison, so fast off the ground. Check her out, feet wide, popping up off the ground. Not a moment to lose as they go shoulder to shoulder with Alyssa Hawley. This is the race that we're watching right now. Watch as Sarah is so fast off the ground, huge leaps off the ground. This is where she can make up time. This is where she can make her run for that third place position. Coming back once again, Rebecca Hammond right there, kind of doubled over. You see the rounded back, and Sarah Harrison is just flying through this station. She's eyes up, she's focusing on Rebecca. She wants to catch her. She sees her heels, and there they are. Last jump for Lauren Weeks, our champ. Rebecca kind of slowing down just a little bit on this. And there's Alyssa Hawley trying to stay with Sarah Harrison all the way to the end. Start to finish, here we go. We're moving on to workout number 5, the 1,000-meter row. Rachel Schreiber is by herself for the first few lengths right here. She's done a great job holding the pace on the run, but here we go. We've had a lead change. Corinna Coffin has dropped back, and now it's Rebecca Hammond second to the row. Lauren Weeks not far behind. We've got all the athletes kind of moving in this great sequential order. This is where we anticipated Lauren Weeks making up ground. Corinna Coffin not too far behind as well. And it comes down to form. If you watch, Rebecca Hammond a little bit sloppier on the rowing form, but still so strong cardiovascular wise that she's able to maintain pace with some of these bigger athletes like Rachel and Lauren. And of course, we've got Sarah Harrison looking over her shoulder at Alyssa Hawley. Once again, I want you to pay attention to this race. This is going to be a good one coming up. And it's Rachel once again off that rower and onto the run. We're flying through this right now. And look at this, shoulder to shoulder. This is what I was talking about. You had Rebecca Hammond first onto that rower, and now it's Lauren Weeks first off the rower. This is the kind of lead changes that we anticipated to see. Corinna Coffin not losing. She's kind of looks a little fatigued, but definitely this is something in her wheelhouse. She knows the rower well. Sarah Harrison, truly impressive right here. Corinna Coffin is off and running. Takes a little misstep that could cost her a couple seconds. And Sarah Harrison, look at that. She's the next off. Faith Cook now in the background right there. She is now staying with some of these faster runners. Truly impressive by Faith. Moving on to the pharma carry, workout number 6. This is your sprint. You've got those first 5 workouts done. Now it's about speed and timing. As Rachel Schreiber truly showing what it takes to be a champion right there, literally running past other athletes on the course. This is a 200-meter farmer carry. 53 pounds kettlebells in both hands for these women as they zigzag their way. And if you've done farmer carry at any point, you know it's not necessarily the carry, it's those turns. That zigzag pattern can wreak havoc because you slow your momentum. You got to change your body position as you roll through. Rebecca Hammond's doing a smart thing right here, doubling over the shoulders just slightly, keeping those kettlebells off her knees. You don't want to have those things banging and clanging against your knees as you're trying to keep that pace up on this. All these athletes basically ride that line between how fast they can actually move these kettlebells in the farmer carry and actually how stable they need to be, because the faster you go, the more sway you get. An athlete that we're really looking at right now is Corinna Coffin as she comes down and tries to make up ground on the second and third place athletes, Lauren Weeks and Rebecca Hammond. Rachel Schreiber, where is she? She's gone. She is moving. She is just dominating down this pace right here, but it's Rebecca Hammond who we're watching because she is the one who's making up ground on that run. No drops, no sets. Here we go. Rebecca Hammond finishing out. Yeah, that face right there. You know that she is in pain. Your grip strength, your forearms after the sled pull is smoked. A quick set down for Corinna Coffin, and then she's back up. Every second, you notice that right there, about 2 to 3 seconds every time you put it down. Even if you're fast, even if you feel like it's a short break, it adds up. And you know who's coming behind her? Sarah Harrison and Alyssa Hawley. I'm telling you right here, that is where this race is at. I cannot wait to see this thing progress over the course of the next few workout zones. Sarah looks strong. Once again, are the gloves a good idea? Yes, maybe on the sled pull, but probably not on the farmer carry. And it could lead to Alyssa Hawley taking over that lead. And there we go, Sarah, same thing. She's got to set them down. She's checking those gloves. This is really a crucial point in the race. Because you know what? We've got Alyssa Hawley who is literally just chalked up. She is ready to go. She is not setting those things down. And here we go, shoulder to shoulder. This is what HYROX is all about. This is that racing that we want to see. Alyssa Hawley takes Sarah Harrison on the left as she goes, powers through, not dropping it. Sarah dropping the gloves. Now the gloves come off, as they say, right? The gloves come off, and it's Alyssa Hawley on that run first. This is a cool changeover, guys. I love this. So cool, but Sarah's not phased. No, she is right on to it. As we move over to workout number 7, which is the sandbag lunges, once again, Rachel Schreiber dominating. Some of these athletes she's passing on the run right now. Let's put this into perspective. Rachel is passing athletes who started a half an hour before she did, and she's already catching them. Truly impressive. Once again, nice no stutter steps for Rebecca Hammond, who's made up ground on the run. Lauren Weeks kind of bobbling with the sandbag a little bit. I wouldn't recommend that. I like where Rebecca Hammond's hands are. This keeps her head up. She's able to kind of keep that pressure on. Anytime, if you've done these sandbag lunges, you know that sandbag, even though it's on the back rack, can inhibit blood flow, can inhibit how you breathe. Rebecca Hammond keeping it in a good position. And you notice Rachel Schreiber right there, full back rack position, head up, eyes up. She's able to keep her breathing strong and no bobbles in that. She can do lunges for days. One last stride, and there you go, dropping the bag. Judge gives her the go-ahead, and she's on for her last run already for this race. There's our champ, Lauren Weeks, kind of in the thick of it with the other athletes who are on the course right now. Rebecca Hammond as well, crossing the finish line with the last couple lunges, looking strong. Once again, just like we saw in Germany, it's not the biggest athletes, it's those runners that can really make up the time. Faith Cook, let's check in with her. Katie Knight, this is the developing story right here. Some of these athletes, these bigger athletes that dominated in the sled pull and push, these are the athletes that are now dropping back slightly. Katie Knight looking like she's struggling a little bit. We saw that little bit of a mental bobble on the sled pull, and now we're kind of seeing it trying to transpire over the course of the next few workouts. Oh, and she's weakening at the legs. This is really the tragedy, and I want to put this in perspective. These athletes have done so much work as literally Katie falls to her knees. Key thing, in HYROX rules, if the sandbag touches the floor during this time, you are disqualified from the race. Katie's doing everything she can right now to stay in the fight. As we check in with Brooke Bowen, also looking strong on the sandbag lunges, holding her pace. Katie and I taking a check, making sure she's not in danger of losing her position right now. But you can see the fatigue in her face. You can see how mentally busted she is. Standing tall. And this is just tragic to watch this as she falls over, literally legs giving out on workout number 7, the sandbag lunges. Her judge unfortunately has to tell her that she's disqualified from the race. I mean, that is a tough day right there. But I'll tell you, man, she gave an amazing effort. We got to give it up to Katie, who this was her first HYROX competing with some of the best athletes in the world on this running sport. And Katie bows out very gracefully. I can't imagine she's in a very good mood after that. But here we go, back to the leader. We've got Rachel Schreiber coming into workout number 8, the wall ball shots. 100 reps to finish this thing out before the finish line. You know, remember, they've just done sandbag lunges as we go into this 100 reps. 14-pound ball, 9-foot target. Here we go, busting it out. And Rebecca Hammond truly showing that she is a force to be reckoned with in this sport. Truly an impressive effort. But what I want you to notice right there is Rebecca and her judge getting after it a little bit on depth. You see how Rebecca's feet are narrower than Rachel's. This is a key point. Whenever those feet are narrow, you can't squat below parallel as easy. And so the no reps add up. And there she is talking to her judge a little bit. I mean, we're talking 20, 30 reps that she was, but with a good spirit, she takes it with stride, not breaking. That's the mental capacity that you have to win this thing. And there we go, finishing it out. We've got Rachel Schreiber finishing 100 wall balls, crossing the finish line, earning that $10,000 at the HYROX Elite Invitational, collapsing right there. Quintessential HYROX fashion. Oh, that's the pain face that we know. She is dying for something to drink right now. That's 1 hour of work, 1 minute off the world record time. Impressive effort by her. And a wonderful effort by Rachel Schreiber. $10,000 richer, a well-deserved rest. And there it is, Rebecca Hammond. Oh, gets no rep on the last rep of her wall balls. There she is, but smiling still, great spirit, amazing athlete, and incredible runner. Rachel Hammond takes second place and earns $3,000. Man, big hugs, big congratulations right there. Doubled over. And there is our champ, Lauren Weeks, finishing out. Once again, she knows this course so well. As I said in the beginning, it's about reps, and there's no one that has more reps in this course than Lauren Weeks. Impressive finish by Corinna Coffin. I believe with a couple more reps, a couple more races under her belt, we're gonna see her at the top of the podium. And there we go, Sarah Harrison and Alyssa Hawley. This is the race we've been watching all day, incredible. And this is the moment where Sarah Harrison bobbles. She sets the ball down, opening the gap for Alyssa Hawley to come across the finish line first and secure that top 5 spot. Incredible performance today, that smile of elation. Sarah, oh my gosh, that was a hell of a mistake to make this deep in the race. Faith Cook, first time doing HYROX today, incredible. Faith Cook coming in, Brooke Bowen finishing it off. And here are the final results of the Women's Elite Invitational. Congratulations to all the women today, especially Rachel Schreiber standing atop the podium, the Army Warrior fitness athlete competing with such incredible women. Now, let's move on to the men. All right, as we look through the men's field, we see proven athletes. These are determined individuals. David Magida out here, he's got something to prove. Easy Muhammad, Kempson, but it's this man right here, Hunter McIntyre, who's literally racing against himself today, challenging himself to beat his own world record. As the men line up, there you go. You're watching Hunter McIntyre actually kind of edge other athletes out, kind of jumping the gun a bit, on this first lap. And just like we saw with the women's race, it is a foot race to the first workout zone, the skier. Coming in here, we have Robert Killian, the proven runner. But as we saw in the women's race, it's all about power and speed, right? It can't just be about how fast you are on that run. You got to come in here, throw your body forward. David Magida, once again, the guy with something to prove today. He's been a lot of talk between him and Hunter going into this. What I'd look for, though, is some of these athletes that maybe we didn't look at before the race, right? Grant McCartney, Easy Muhammad. These are athletes that are proven in their own disciplines, but still are out here at the HYROX competition today trying to earn their spot for that $10,000. And it comes down to Hunter McIntyre waiting for that last meter to tick off before he gets out on the first run, and then bang, right here. Just as we've seen in other races with Hunter, he's the first one in, but check this out. David Magida, shoulder to shoulder nearly. Alexander Ronkovic all the way in, but this is the competition right here. David Magida challenging the champ, Hunter McIntyre. This rivalry has been building. This athlete is truly trying to make a go at this. Now, as you're seeing on this, that David Magida Hunter McIntyre race is all about leapfrogging each other on this row. Hunter knows this. Now, there's no one that has more reps in the HYROX race than Hunter McIntyre. He knows exactly how to do this, and we've talked about this after Germany, after the Elite 12 race. He had the plan. He stuck to the plan. 10 steps, and then he stands up and takes a break. Okay? David Magida seeing the opening, he pushes forward, he takes that leap in front of him, and that's got to be something that David Magida likes. If I were his coach, though, I would say, David, slow down a little bit. Don't fall into the trap, because Hunter will pull you in and then spit you out. But here we go. David Magida coming across that line for that second lap. This is incredible performance, though. Just to keep up with him, with Hunter at this point, is truly impressive. We haven't seen this yet. David taking a quick break over his shoulder, looking at the course around him. All the athletes are now moving onto the sled. And there we go. Down there with lap number 3. We've got one more lap, and then these guys are going to be out on that run. The impressive thing here, and as you're watching this, is the pace by which they're moving. You're seeing some of these athletes take little chunks, 5 feet, 10 feet at a time. These guys are pushing 10 to 12 feet, which at this point on your 4th lap is truly impressive. You see Hunter's eyes right there. He is giving it his all. He is clenching down, really working towards the end. And this is where Hunter really steps forward, is that last little push. He wants to be out on that race. He wants to gap it out so he can get that extra few meters, there we go, as he crosses the finish line over the other athletes. But the question is, did David Magida overextend himself right here already? Workout number 2, he's looking out at the corner of his eye. He sees Hunter take off. Let's see how he comes out of here. Walking a little bit, kind of getting himself into position, and there is Robert Killing will transition over, watching this. This is a cool expression of how hard this sled is. Look at him burying his chin, his chest onto those plates, trying to lift, trying to get purchase on that floor as he heads out. Little bit of an injury, little bit of a calf bobble as he goes onto this last run. But truly, this 4th place position is really anybody's game. Eric Hinman, the oldest athlete in the crowd, but definitely one of the most fittest athletes in the field today. Matt Morton truly played football at Iowa State. This is a guy that you're definitely expecting to do well on the sled. And Grant McCartney showing that everybody has limits. If you put anything in front of him that involves climbing or ninja, he is going to destroy you. He's made an incredibly impressive transition over to HYROX, putting in multiple laps in practice to get ready for this course today, putting on size, putting on mass, and this is where it comes into play. And here we go to workout number 3 for sled pull. Hunter McIntyre, David Magida, literally shoulder to shoulder, rep for rep on this, but it looks like Hunter's skill and reps that he's put in on this course is really proving to keep that edge over David Magida. This is David's first go at HYROX, and you see this. You can watch Magida's eyes, focus left, focus right. Wherever Hunter's at, he's keeping an eye on him. This is Hunter pulling Magida in. Once again, if you're Magida's coach, you're telling him, slow down, don't fall into that trap, mind the rope. All these little things add up over the course of the race. What you should understand about this race is that it's 8 workouts long. Yes, the heavy stuff is here in the beginning, but you gotta play the long game. It's an hour long, you know you're gonna be out there. All the men are watching and learning from each other as they go through this, right? They're using the walk back method versus the hand over hand method. And here we go, Eric Hinman, truly an impressive athlete, giving it his all today, working against some of the best in the business. And Easy Muhammad is flashing a smile. I think he's having the best time out here today. This heavy stuff is his wheelhouse for sure. And there you go, the Hunter takes off on his third run. David Magida just slightly behind him. David's looking a little shook up. We'll see if this costs him later on as they move into the burpee broad jumps. Impressive performance though as David finishes out his sled pull and moves right onto that run. Let's transition over into 3, where you have Eric Hinman, Robert Killian, Eric taking a slight bobble but getting right up and recovering really, really well. What I like about Eric is that he's not in the red zone. He's keeping himself under control the whole time, capturing that third place position on the sled pull. And here's Hunter McIntyre once again adopting that smaller jump stance. And there is Rebecca Hammond kind of watching, right? Watching the men go now after having just run the race. But David Magida is not too far behind Hunter, a little slower off the ground. I want you to pay attention to this right now. Hunter fast off, David a little bit slower, but there it is. David always watching and seeing where Hunter's at. He does not want to lose sight. Those pauses right there, that little stand, that extra breath, that's where Hunter's going to capitalize on you. Look at this, start to finish, no slowing down for that man right there. With David kind of peeling himself up off the ground for each rep, that is the sign of fatigue. That's the sign of your midline starting to go. You wonder if he didn't get just pulled into Hunter's trap on the sled pull. You can see it in his face right there. A bit of confusion, a bit of hectic mental state as he kind of crosses the finish line and heads out on his run. Here we go for Alexander Ronkovic taking it in. He's doing an impressive job for not being a big guy. He certainly has the run on his side. But same thing, you watching these athletes peel themselves up off the ground and you're noticing their midline is definitely going. That third place position is really anybody's game. Alexander kind of making up some ground on Hinman. Kempson, you can't count him out. He's been in a lot of races, a proven athlete. Killian and Easy Muhammad. What an interesting race that is turning out to be. With Easy being one of the bigger athletes, Killian one of the skinnier athletes, certainly speedy. And Matt Morton, gosh, I'm so impressed by this guy coming out. Only been in this HYROX frame of mind for the past couple weeks. Iowa State football player, no stranger to hard work, overtaking Robert Killian a little bit, rep for rep on this. This is the kind of racing we like to see right here. As Grant McCartney comes in, not too far behind. This race is shaping up. First and second is really anybody's game at this point, with Hunter taking a lead over Magida, and it's this third, fourth position that's really shaping up to be a fun race to watch. And there we go, Matt Morton out the gate. He is going for it. As we transition over into the 1,000 meter row workout number 5. Hunter is all by himself at this point, settling into a pace, giving his biceps a check. Solid pace right there, but that is Magida coming in, settling in. Now it's gonna be about who can sustain this. David has some ground to make up, but once again, on these machines, there's only so much and so fast that you can go. You're going against the monitor at this point. So if you increase your strokes, you wear yourself out. Best bet is to decrease your strokes, increase your power, okay? And there is Eric Hinman solidly coming in at a third place position. Really, really impressive at this point. David, always, if there's one thing you're paying attention to right now, it's David Magida's eyes. He wants to know where Hunter's at on that monitor. He's taking a peek over his shoulder as Eric Hinman is locked in. Shorter strokes, as you can see, than the other guys. A little bit shorter athlete. And there's Matt Kempson. We've got working through Eric Hinman right here. Nice and easy. You never see Eric redline. This is a true competitor, someone who knows. Comes from cycling, comes from triathlon. Alex Ronkovic, definitely a guy, a dark horse coming in all the way from Austria, trying to prove himself here today. Falling back a little bit on the workout zones, but stepping up on the runs. And there it is, farmer's carry, workout number 6, 70 pounds in each hand, and there is Hunter. Remember, we talked about this during the women's race. You want to move fast. David Magida right on his heels. This is it. You don't want those kettlebells banging into it. David Magida, please stay in your lane, my man. You have to do this. You have to fight your own fight, because that's what happens. You drop those kettlebells and Hunter's going to take off. Hunter not slowing down at all, crisscrossing, moving, looking solid. Yeah, gritting, pulling through. He is ready to work, this guy. All right, that's the look of the champion right there, setting it down. And moving over to workout number 7, the sandbag lunges. It's Hunter McIntyre by himself for the first bit here. He's secured his lead over David Magida by a good 2 minutes. Hunter is just moving fluidly through this, but David Magida, not too far behind, moves on to the sandbag lunges as well. He's standing tall, lunging all the way through. Now this is impressive given how deep we are in this race right now. These athletes know they have 100 wall balls coming up, but they are not slowing down at all. Hunter wants to beat his time. Remember, we said this in the beginning of the race. He is racing against himself today. He wants that world record. He wants to prove himself. As we see Eric Hinman right here, the cardio man himself, taking off on these sandbag lunges. And these bobbles right here, this is it. Magida has definitely hit his max. He is sweating, he's talking to himself. He knows that he's got to stay in there, but he cannot see Hunter anymore. This is the difference between the champion and second place here in the men's category. Every single moment that you take on a rest period, Hunter McIntyre is going to capitalize on it. Eric Hinman, solid work right here. Look at this guy, first HYROX ever, stepping all the way through. What you need to pay attention to is Eric's smoothness on all this. He never redlines. And here we go, Robert Killian, the proven Spartan Pro, fittest Army Ranger. This guy is a badass in his own right, and he is just taking on this course. What I love about Elijah and Matt Morton, you see coming in behind him there, these are two athletes coming from the CrossFit side, so functional fitness athletes. Certainly, I'd probably say they never run 8K in their normal training, and they came out here today and they put up with the best. We had Robert Killian, who's a proven runner. Staying with him is truly an impressive feat. Matt Kempson, this is a guy that's been around the OCR world a long time. Alexander Ronkovic, you see on your screen right now, this is the guy that's come from Austria, making tons of waves in his 3K time in the virtual championships of fitness only a couple months ago. Trying to chase down Matt right now, but may not get him by the end. Kempson finishes it out. Ronkovic finishes it out. Elijah Muhammad, as Matt Morton finishes his sandbag lunges. And of course, Grant McCartney finishing it out. The true stud, always spreading the positivity as we move into wall balls. Hunter McIntyre is laying down a blistering pace. I don't think he's going to be able to make it to that world record pace that he set for himself today, but we're watching him just crush these. As we see Rebecca Hammond right there, who got no rep, a bunch on her wall balls, but Hunter McIntyre is definitely hitting depth as he finishes out so smooth, crossing the finish line, holding on to his podium spot. David Magida, who threw down an amazing performance. Remember, once again, HYROX is about reps. I've said this multiple times now, and this is David Magida's first rep, if you will, on the HYROX race, and he has done such a great job today, looking left, looking right. There's no one around him. Yeah, we're having a good time today at the HYROX race as Eric Hinman enters into his zone, finishing it out with his wall balls. Now, Eric knows wall balls really well. If you follow any of his training, you know Eric does a lot of volume, so this is going to be a breeze for him as he finishes next to David Magida for that third place spot, locking it in. Going rep for rep today as David Magida finishes it off and takes that second place position, crossing the finish line. His first HYROX ever. Amazing job for this guy today. Came out, at the end of the day, it's all about friendship. It's all good. as Eric Hinman finishes his wall balls. Matt Kempson kind of falls into line. A great job for this guy right here. 5-time Ironman Eric Hinman taking the 3rd place spot, as well as Alexander Ronkovic, who definitely showed up today on that run amongst a field of incredible athletes. Matt Kempson providing a ton of great performance today as Hunter McIntyre looks on, his former roommate and training partner. He crosses the finish line for a 4th place position. Not bad. And Elijah Muhammad, incredible. A CrossFit athlete. And there he is, Robert Killian, who suffered that injury in workout number 2. Finishes strong with his wall ball shots. Looking down the field, Matt Morton taking a quick break as he finishes out his wall balls. Once again, this Ohio State football player truly put up an impressive performance today, hanging with some of the best runners in the world. A 100 wall ball shots. This is a guy that definitely spreads the good everywhere he goes. One of the most positive athletes in the field. High fives, low fives, and good vibes for that man right there. Woo, as he falls down at the finish line. Quintessential HYROX fashion, Grant McCartney, as his friends lend a little hand. Remember, it's all about competition, but it's also about a race for everybody here at HYROX, and that's what it's all about. Incredible effort today as we close out the HYROX Elite Invitational. This is your finisher list right here. So as we look at our final results of the HYROX Men's Invitational, Hunter McIntyre stands on top of the podium over David Magida, Eric Hinman taking up 3rd. Congratulations to all the men and women who stood atop the podium today. But remember, HYROX is all about a fitness competition for everybody. It's great to get back to racing, and you can get racing too. Go to HYROX.com today and sign up for your next race. We'll see you guys at the next one.